Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 321. It is Monday. Here in Cincinnati, we had our first snow last night. It was so beautiful, and then it turned to rain. So it's all washing away, and it's just kind of a gray, muddy sort of mix right now. A little bit of white on the branches, but not as beautiful as it was last night when it was just coming down so fast. Yes, so Monday. We are, let's see, where are we at? The 16th today. We're 2 weeks from New Year's in 2020. And I am a few days from going off the grid a little bit, stopping my focus on work and really dropping into this beautiful cocoon, spacious, awesome time with my family and my friends. And so I woke up this morning just really excited about what I'm working on this week, what's wrapping up, and then all the events that we have on the calendar this weekend, next week, and then the whole expanse of time where there's nothing on the calendar. So when I was meditating today, I didn't run. It's too cold and wet and snowy and slushy. So I did my yoga instead. And I had this awareness of the intention grid that I created 8 weeks before the end of the year, so it would have been 6 weeks ago. And I couldn't quite remember what it was that I had said in the intention grid. I mean, I knew the overall feeling of it, but I couldn't quite remember how I said I was going to spend my time priority-wise. And so I started watching the video again this morning as I was getting ready and came up with this title for today, Back to the Grid. So first, a little reflection about intention grids. If you are not familiar with them, they are creative ways of playing with energy by using crystals and stones. And for me, I use this black velvet flower of life mat that I put stones and crystals on. And as I place them on the grid, I have an intention that goes with each stone, and then I connect them to the other stones to create a flow of energy. And whatever my focus is for that grid, that's the way I'm directing or focusing the energy to flow in my actual life and my human journey. So 2 months before the end of the year, my intention was, how do I want to spend my time? There's so much that needs to be done in my mind. There's so many areas and people and events pulling at me, at all of us. There's so much that wants my attention through social media, through work, through family. How do I choose deliberately the most valuable and efficient and productive way to spend my time that makes me happy first? Because if I'm not happy, the people I'm hanging out with won't be happy because I'm not happy, because happiness is contagious and grumpiness is even more contagious. I don't know if it's even more contagious, but grumpiness is pretty catchy too. So I sat down with my stones and my mat and some music and created a video and shared that on my YouTube channel. Because I believe when we are in our own experience and we're willing to share it from a really detached and open-hearted way, there's a match for someone else. And so there's beautiful wisdom that happens when we are seen and reflected and we share and we allow ourselves to receive back. So I created the video, I put it up on YouTube, and I'll put that link in today's episode description. I went back and watched it this morning, part of it, I didn't get all the way through. But what was amazing is the very first thing that I intended to focus on was sleep. Totally forgot that was the first thing on my grid. And it was perfect because what I was realizing this morning when I was trying to decide, am I awake enough to do yoga? Because I really didn't sleep well at all last night. And so I was thinking, should I just go back to bed and try get an extra hour of sleep? Like I'm so foggy, or what makes the most sense? And I knew that the yoga would create a flow of energy inside my body and it would wake me up. And it's exactly what it did. And so when I got the message in my yoga to watch the video and remember how I thought I should be spending my time, what I should be focusing my attention on, the video took me right back to starting with sleep. I'm like, okay, there's clearly a message here that I need to go to bed a little earlier and not be rushed in the morning to jump out of bed and dive into the day, and that my body needs that rest. So as I move through the last 2 weeks of the year, there's more space for sleeping in, for going to bed earlier if I want to, for taking a nap if I want to. My body's going to be able to catch up on the stillness, the healing stillness that happens when we shut off our mind and our bodies for a little while and cocoon into, a really safe, warm, awesome place. My bed. So that was the first surprise when I watched the video. I'm like, oh man, I said sleep first, and sleep is definitely not getting the attention it needs. And then the next thing was exercise and health and wellness. How am I eating and drinking and moving my body and paying attention to the cycles that my body is going through. Which right now I'd give myself a B, a B in that area if I'm evaluating. And as I look at the events for the next week or two, I'm like, oh, I got to really keep an eye on my food and how much I'm bringing in. Because when I have a smorgasbord of awesome food in front of me, my tendency is gluttony. It's like stuff myself with all of it. And then I'm so sluggish because my body's trying to process all that food and move it through my digestive system. So it was a great reminder when I watched the video of, pay attention, be mindful in how I'm eating, and have a little of everything, but don't overdo it. Be mindful of how my eating is being balanced by my exercise. When I go into a slower pace, like I know I will in the next couple of weeks, it's easy to skip my exercise or, not move my body as much. And I know that the commitment to either walking outside or running outside or doing yoga, the commitment to that physical activity always makes me feel better, and it always keeps my mind, body, spirit more balanced, more harmonious. So I kind of kicked myself in the butt a little this morning watching the video. I'm like, okay, a little pep talk. We're also going to have time for exercise. It's going to be a priority. I'll do it early in the morning, and it's going to happen. So that was a good reminder. I'm also trying to figure out, in winter it's harder. I like to be outside, but I don't like being bundled up. So kind of figuring that part of it out. And then the third thing, in my intention grid, we didn't even get to anyone else until number 4. So the first was sleep, the second was health and wellness, and the third was meditation. My grid was about taking care of myself so that I can show up and be better for everybody else. And I feel like this is such an incredibly important message for me and for every one of us. We're going into a time where we spend we spend a lot of money, we spend a lot of time, we spend a lot of energy, we spend. It's so funny. We're focusing on other people often during the holidays. What are we giving, and how are we making sure everyone feels important and valued in our schedules and our activities and included? Or at least this is how I navigate the holidays. Maybe your way is different. That energy out, for me, it's so important to balance it with energy in. And that doesn't mean taking energy from other people. It means resourcing myself with what nourishes my mind, body, spirit. And so the first thing is sleep, the second is physically taking care of my body, and then the third is meditation. when I go into a vacation time like I'm about to, meditation is one of the first things I drop. I'll sleep, I'll exercise. I don't usually stick to my meditation practice. And as we move towards the end of the year, I can feel how important that is. I wouldn't even say important, how vital it is for my own healing and my own preparation of moving into 2020. And it's easy to balance if I make it a priority. It's just about putting it on the calendar early in the day so that that quiet morning time is where I'm still and I'm listening and creating, tuning in. I receive so much clarity when I meditate, and it shifts the agenda, the task list for my day. The more important soul things that need to be finished or accomplished in a day are always what come through in my meditation. And it rearranges some of the things that aren't quite as important. I mean, the clean house is great, and grocery shopping is great, and all these other things that we can, social media, all these things we can fill our day with. But when I start with meditation, my soul is very clear. This is the person to talk to first, or make sure you have that conversation. Make sure that you validate where you are and where that person is. Whatever. Make sure I dream about 2020. It's an important portal that I can feel for myself and then collectively, whether you're paying attention to it or not. Shifting into 2020 is going to be significant, and how we move through that determines our awareness of that transition. And so as much as I'm looking forward to the time with my family and my friends and the activities, the stillness and the mindfulness and the tuning in to what's possible feels really sweet and magnetic and exciting. And I'm excited for that time. So, yeah, my grid reminded me. Sleep, health and wellness, meditation, and then family and friends and work and all the other things that happen in my life. When I was looking back at the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have seriously done a lot in the last 2 weeks, or last 6 weeks. I have 2 weeks left. Everything that I was naming and placing on the grid that I was doing for work, I have done all of those things that I placed, and I feel really good about how I navigated through them. I was very present and very open to receiving. I can just feel how far I've come just in 6 weeks in my ability to receive beautiful words, and I've been getting gifts from people, which just blows my mind. I'm like, you sent me a gift? I didn't know I get gifts at the end of the year. I mean, my ability to allow that, to feel the possibility of being loved, it's just so fun, and I'm really proud of how much better I'm getting at it. I've spent most of my life being a really good giver and pushing away when people want to give back. And that's not very fun for other people. The flow of energy where we give and we receive, and we give and we receive, and we receive and we give. It's a cycle. Energy wants to always be moving and flowing, I believe, in this circular way, and kind of like a boomerang, like what we send out, are we allowing it to return back to us? And so it's been really fun to see how I'm getting better at that. I mean, I have a long way to go, but I'm getting better at it. That feels like my motto, my mantra as we move through these last couple weeks. I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Who knows what I can get to in 2020, but I'm better than I was at the beginning of 2019. So good. All right, that feels like plenty of rambling for a Monday morning. Yeah, It's good. I will be doing a podcast today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I am going off the grid. I'll be back sometime early January. I'm not sure of the exact date yet. I think everyone goes back to school on like the 5th or 6th maybe. So somewhere around there I'll come back and start up with 2020 podcasts. Like who knows what the vibration will be when we return. But between now and Thursday, there is a lot of energy still moving, and so I'll be tuning in and sharing what I feel. And we'll walk through these last few days of this journey of Gaia's Love Podcast 2019. We'll walk through them together. Yeah, if you feel inspired to learn more about intention grids or to tune into how to really place your time intentionally over the next 2 weeks, I'll put the link to the video in the description, and I hope that it brings you some inspiration and some guidance. All right, have a great Monday, friends. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.